up, what's up? You're listening to Afternoon Tea Radio with your favorite host, Maria Jordan.
And your boy, Kara's Joy.
And today we are sipping tea while spilling tea with this lovely lady in the building. I mean, just smart, gorgeous, activist, all these amazing things. Miss Attorney Jazz, what's up?
Hello.
How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. You know what? I cannot complain at all. I'm happy to be
glad
here.
to have you, girl.
Thank you.
You are inspiring.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, y'all. So before we get into this amazing interview, let's talk today's tea. So I don't know if y'all have been following Mr. Kanye West on Twitter. He been ranting about music ownership, and early Wednesday he was tweeting pictures of his 10 contracts with Universal Music, and then calling out the music industry basically on the mistreatment of African Americans and demanding a fair share of the profits. So he also spoke on not being able to buy back his masters and being a billionaire now. Congrats. He feels like he can speak on it now. You know, he's a billionaire. He got these coins, and but he also was he tweeted a video clip of him peeing on one of his Grammys. With the caption that read, "Trust me, I won't stop." And I believe him. He stated that Universal won't show him how much his masters are worth because they know he can buy them. And then he threatens Sony, too, and said, y'all next, basically, on his hit list. So what do you think about that? What do you think about Kanye's rant? I'm very curious to what sparked it.
So, this is the thing about Kanye. He has a special place in my heart. But then it'd be like, all right, Kanye, the delivery, I think, so in addition to practicing entrepreneurship law, I do entertainment law as well. And I really encourage any client I come into conflict to own their work, their IP, own everything. So I think I appreciate him for shining light on us needing to own.
Absolutely.
But where he kind of went a little left is he made a little comment about he's Moses or something. You know what I'm talking about? He said something like, I'm going to be Moses and help my people get free. And I'm like, all right, Kanye.
Yeah.
Like, keep that part.
You know what? I honestly feel, I can't even lie. Sometimes I feel like a lot of it is, like Kanye, we wonder why he associates with Trump sometimes. And I honestly believe he has the same tactic. Trump has mastered the idea of negative publicity. And he knows how to get the conversation going and how to stay relevant. And I believe that is what him and Kanye have in common.
And they're both Geminis.
Yeah. But also, like, you got to understand, the first deal is usually a bad deal.
Yes.
Because you got the company, like, I've been there, you know what I'm saying? So you have the company that's investing in you. They don't know what you're going to sell. So you coming from the street, maybe probably a little broke, and they offer you $1 million, and you're going to take it, not knowing that you owe them like 6 albums. So, the first deal is usually always bad. You just got to, he should have went back in and renegotiated, but, and plus, come on, Jay-Z, your big brother, he should be helping you out.
And the first deal is usually bad, and I think a lot of that is because 5% of lawyers are black. We come from communities where we don't have lawyers to review our deals and our contracts.
Yeah.
If you are a young guy from the hood and you get a contract thrown in your face, 9 times out of 10, because 5% of lawyers are black, you don't know a lawyer. You just gonna sign it. Get your family out the hood, quote unquote, get your chain or whatever, and boom, here we are. And that's probably what happened to him.
And usually it's the label's lawyer. Yeah, so they looking at the best interest for the label.
Not in your best interest.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, I love the movement. I love the idea. I love the message behind it. But I personally always question intent. And, with Kanye, I'm like, okay, so what's next? What are we getting at? What's next? Because he's, and of course, it's been,
Kanye's a Kardashian now. No, literally, like, he does everything for attention.
Yeah. And
some of these things you can fight behind closed doors, but he does it for attention, just like the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Kanye Kardashian.
You know what? But I wish him well. I do. I think that the message does need to be discussed now. By all means, I think it definitely needs to be discussed. And I think we got the right person on the show today to get the conversation started.
Yes,
you know, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All right, so let's get into you, Miss Attorney Jazz.
Let's do it.
So did you grow up seeing like black lawyers, doctors? Did you see that as a kind of someone to influence you growing
Absolutely
up?
not.
Really?
I didn't know I wanted to be a lawyer until my mom and my dad went through their divorce. And my mom, you know, I was a mama's girl, so I always wanted to be with her. And I remember one day she was like, "Oh, you can't come with me today. I got to go see a lawyer." I'm like, "What's that? You know, why can't I go?" And she explained, "Oh, this lawyer's going to help mama get out of a bad situation." And that was my first exposure to a lawyer. Like, oh, you know.
Oh, wow.
But I didn't know any lawyers growing up. And that's what led to, you know, me having a poor law school admissions journey, wishing I had Jazz Talks Law to coach me through the process. And it's why I graduated law school with a ton of debt, and which is what I'm preventing my future lawyers from doing when they graduate law school.
Very nice. Okay.
So that's what made you become a lawyer?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I thought I was going to be a big family law lawyer with a 1-800-DIVORCE sign right on 75, 85, near the Georgia Dome, or, you know, that was my original plan. You know, I thought I was going to be Cardi B lawyer or something like that. But, you know, if it wasn't for that initial dream, I don't think I would be sitting here today. So I appreciate the journey.
That's what's up. And were you always like a good student? Like, were you good in school?
Oh, yeah. I was very studious. And honestly, I think it's because growing up, my dad, he was like, you know, every A you get, I'm going to give you $10 every B.
Wow.
I was a hustler at an early age.
Yeah. All right. That's so funny. My kid definitely is like that. I think all of our kids are like that.
Yeah, you could bribe me with some money for some good grades.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think I kind of just naturally continued that. But I also just appreciate learning.
Yeah.
You know, my education is the reason, you know, I was exposed to so much. I mean, my first time on an airplane wasn't until I was a senior at Hampton University. And that was because of the opportunity, you know. So, you know, my education is the reason, again, that I'm here today.
Are you originally from Georgia?
No, I'm from Richmond, Virginia, South Side, Huguenot High School, 804. Like, shout out to the home team, okay?
I hate Virginia.
Okay, we're going to change that.
I used to live in Hampton.
I went to Hampton University, the illustrious
Hampton
University.
They in here, y'all. They in here representing, y'all. All right, and I ain't mad at it.
So,
all right.
Let me ask you this. Was there any moment in your career that you wanted to give up?
Oh, yeah.
What was it like?
You want to know the last moment I wanted to give up?
More like the first.
Yeah.
On that journey.
That made you go, you know what? I don't want to do this.
You know what? I think the first big moment for me, and, you know, me and him, we're way better now. Yeah. But you know what's funny? A lot of people think I come from this, like, super rich background. Mom's a doctor, dad's a lawyer.
Yeah.
But the first time I wanted to give up was when I asked my dad to buy me a book for college, and he told me no. Him and my mom are going through a divorce, and he was a little salty at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just asking for book money.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? You know, I can't ask my own dad, but you know what? I had to forgive him. You know, I had to not let that discourage me. And now I'm like, honestly, thank you. You know, I know at the time you were, you know, massaging through some feelings of your own.
Listen,
you know.
And you always got to remember your parents, they're parents and they're also human, men and women with emotions just like you, and no one's perfect. So.
And he also taught me how to hustle, you know. Okay, you want to give it to me? I'm going to get it somehow, period.
Absolutely. So who was your biggest influence, like, throughout your career or even now?
Well, I have to, of course, shout out my forever first lady, Michelle Obama.
Yes.
Oh,
and not for, I mean, for all of the reasons that everyone would say. But what I love about her, and what I tell a lot of future lawyers is, what I love about her is she didn't pass the bar the first time she took it. And I try to use that for my future lawyers when they're taking the LSAT, when they're studying for the bar exam. This is that, like, look at her, you know.
Yeah.
Failing one time, like how you asked me, you fail, you get discouraged or whatever, but you got to pick yourself and keep it moving.
That's dope.
So why is it so important to let the public know that only 5% lawyers are black?
Well, key example is Kanye, you know. You know, we have so many creatives, so many entrepreneurs, so many young black men and women who are accused of crimes that they did not commit. And what happens? They take these bogus plea deals. What happens? They sign these bogus contracts. They don't own their masters. You know, we have business owners who create things, inventors, but they don't have the intellectual property to go along with it. And then you have these parent companies, you know, people who don't look like us, who come in and bully us in a lot of different ways, whether it's the mass incarceration, whether it's, you know, owning our masters, whatever it is. I strongly believe one solution in my contribution to the Black Lives Matter movement is just increasing the number of black lawyers. You know, when you think about our judges, the people who are locking us up, they're not us.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, do you think that it's more difficult for black people to become lawyers?
Absolutely.
Or do you think it's from the lack of desire to become a lawyer?
Absolutely not. Listen, if I had $1, honestly, even a penny, for every time someone told me they wanted to be a lawyer, it's typically, I always wanted to go to law school, but, right?
What's the but?
The but is paying for it, you know. And with Jazz Talks Law, I created a coaching brand. And my whole goal is to get you guys admitted with full law school tuition scholarships. So we've done over $2 million in law school scholarships. I mean, I'm talking, you're graduating with zero debt. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, I've created workbooks and online courses and just different avenues and resources just to help you on your journey. It's not that we don't want to go. It's we don't see the representation or we don't think we can pay for it. You know, a lot of times people talk us out of it. They don't think they can go to law school. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Or even if you look at the law school admissions test, that test wasn't designed for us. The bar exam.
In what way?
When you think about preparing for the law school admissions test, you know, a lot of people can afford private tutors.
Yeah.
You know, we private tutor. Mama said no. You better private tutor on that room.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
That's just one quick example. Or even like with the bar exam, we have future lawyers all over the nation preparing for a bar exam during the middle of a pandemic. They don't got money to pay their bills like other people do.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we're on the front lines screaming Black Lives Matter every other week when another of us gets killed. So we have all these pressures that a lot of groups don't have while we're also trying to become lawyers. Can you imagine? Like, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it feels like every career is a lot, you know?
That's crazy because I'm actually excited you're here because my little daughter, she wants to be a lawyer. She's 13, but she got a long way to go. But that leads to the next question. Do you believe that the time it takes to become a lawyer pushes people from that field?
The time. You know, I saw a quote the other day that said, yeah, it may take several years to accomplish whatever your goal is, but guess what? At the end of the day, those years are going to pass regardless, right? You know, so if you count undergrad, we're looking at about 7 years, right, before you become a lawyer. But God willing, those 7 years are going to come and go regardless.
Yeah.
So you might as well use those 7 years to your full advantage.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I had saw on your page you had mentioned Diploma Privilege. What is that exactly, and why do you support it?
I support Diploma Privilege because I think it will give, I know it will give law schools the accountability that they really need. If you can graduate law school and become an attorney, you better believe they're going to take some extra steps to make sure these law schools are doing their job to educate all future lawyers before they graduate.
So what is it? What is Diploma Privilege?
So Diploma Privilege, the whole idea is that if you attend a law school, you graduate law school, when you graduate, you should be able to become a lawyer. You should be able to get sworn in. And the conversation came up most recently because of the pandemic. Yeah. Right? So, you know, you have future lawyers who have been given bar exam test days. And we talk about the bar exam. That is the worst experience.
You're going to have to tell us about that.
The best, worst experience of my life. I would never do it again.
Really?
Absolutely. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of people in one room taking a test. Like, it's horrifying. But the point is, you know, with the pandemic, they kept pushing the test date back. Now, you're trying to prepare. It's like you're trying to prepare, but you don't have a due date. So it's like the goalpost keeps moving. Can you imagine a football game without a timer? Like, you need that time factor to adequately stay engaged. Yes. So not only is the dates keep getting pushed back, it goes from online to in person, and then some people cancel them all together. It's like, you know what? All these pressures, all this anxiety, in addition to just studying, you know, Diploma Privilege me. Well, not me, but
because you did that thing.
I did that
on the
thing.
first try.
On the first try, period.
How long were you a lawyer?
I'm sorry.
How long have you been a lawyer?
4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny. People are like, "You like a 1L," which is a first year law student. I'm like, I know.
So, like with diploma privilege, that means that they would be able to not have to take the bar. Is that what that means? Wow.
Yeah.
So, do you think that that could be a negative thing as well? Like not having those same type. Is it possible that do you think that people could slide through with that who aren't as knowledgeable as they should be?
If the law schools aren't held accountable on a better level, absolutely. But that's my whole thing. If we were to incorporate diploma privilege, okay, now we need to make sure the law schools are doing their job even better to make sure when they graduate, right,
that they are actually ready.
Because really, you should take the bar exam when you're in law school. You know, it should be in law school. You know, it maybe not call it the bar exam, but what they're testing should be a part of your law school curriculum, and technically it is.
Okay.
You know, it's another barrier that keeps us out of the legal profession.
Is it costly? Really?
I want to say just to take the bar exam, just to apply, it was like thousands of dollars.
Wow.
You know, and I was so thankful for the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys, which I am the student co-chair of this year. They gave me a scholarship, which helped me pay some of those expenses. And again, we're talking another barrier that keeps a lot of us from even attempting to go to law school. Because, I mean, financially, it's a lot.
So what's the steps? Like, okay, if this is something that I want to do, this is something that, especially, let's say you have high school students or maybe even in college, someone who desires to do it but has a fear there. What are the steps to kind of really make it make sense, which I'm sure is what you teach in your program?
Yes. So let's start from college.
Okay.
So, you know, you make it to college. Your first 2 years are really just about building your resume, your grades. All of that is really important. Once you become a junior in college, that's when you want to start looking at law schools, attending the different conferences, the pre-law programming, Jazz Talks Law programming, or for example, the HBCU Pre-Law Summit, which is coming up this month in Atlanta. You know, you want to start getting yourself just acclimated, researching, looking at different law schools or what have you. Then you want to craft a really good law school list. You know, you want to look at the schools that have the culture. You know, in 2020, the culture at your law school is important. You know, are they wearing MAGA? Are they wearing MAGA hats in the classroom? Or are they, you know, well, I'm a little behind, but what's Biden and them? What's their slogan? P.S. Go vote. But
yes. I get it.
Hillary was what? I'm with her.
Yes.
You know, so which one are they wearing in the classroom? Which one do you need in your classroom? Can you go to classroom with the MAGA hats? Are you gonna be comfortable? You have attitude every day you show up. You know.
Does that matter?
Absolutely. You spend a good period of your time in the classroom. And most future lawyers, they don't consider anything beyond their law school admissions test score or their GPA. But, you know, the culture, you know, if, for example, your professor was to say the N-word in the classroom or something, you know, outlandish, how is your school going to respond? Yeah. You know, like, this is stuff that messes with us mentally, and you need to know that your law school is going to do their part to either prevent that from happening, because they don't even have a professor there that would even think to do something like that, or if it did, they're handling it swiftly.
So how do you research that? How do you determine, like, okay, this is a good culture for me?
So my favorite tip is Google News. So, you know, any business, law school, whatever, you know, if you go on their website, 10 stars, 5 stars, you know, they're not going to downsell their stuff at all. But if you go on Google News and type in, for example, my law school, Mercer Law, right? You're going to get news articles, you know, from third party, you know, from radio hosts, from, you know, CBS here, whatever. And those articles are going to give you a perspective that's not endorsed by that law school, right? Yes. So that is like my favorite. And then, of course, if you want to see, like, every law school has like a Black Law Student Association. That's something else you should consider. Not only do they have a Black Law Student Association, but is their chapter active? You know, you can Google Mercer Balsa and see all the awards we've won. You can see the events we have. You can see the academic success program they do every year, the scholarships, you know. So your culture is it's a life changer.
extremely
That's the
important.
reason I did well in law school.
Ah.
Yeah, I had the right culture.
Nice. And so after college, what's the next step?
Next step is working with Jazz Talks Law. So I would say I created a few workbooks that help you write your personal statement, your diversity statement. And I also have a pre-law masterclass that teaches you how to study for the LSAT, the law school admissions test. Signing up for who I'm now partnered with, Blueprint LSAT Prep, which is an LSAT prep company that has really, I think they had a moment where they realized in the past few months that they needed to do more to stand against racism, to recognize that only 5% of lawyers are Black and they should be doing more. So, like, we partnered together, and, you know, I have a lot of giveaways and things that they're sponsoring now. So, you know, taking advantage of all of that is, you know, really the steps. And I have a free law school application timeline right on my website that you can subscribe and get. That breaks down everything.
I'm loving this. We're going to talk more about this, y'all. If you want to join the conversation, call in 404-603-8770. If you have any questions for Attorney Jazz, come on and give us a call. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. She going to give you some advice, honey. You got a little law situation happening. You need to call in. All right, guys. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. We're going to go back in, y'all. What's up, y'all? You're listening to Afternoon Tea Radio with your favorite host, Maria Jordan.
And your boy, Karis Jordan.
And we got the beautiful Attorney Jazz in the building.
Hello.
Giving us all this advice on how to get our life right. Yes, and how to pursue this amazing career and change that 5%. Black attorney. It's only 5% Black attorneys.
And
right?
it's been that way since Martin Luther King passed away.
What?
Just to give you,
Wow.
For 50 plus,
Where are you trying to get it to? What percentage are you actually?
Yeah, what's the percentage goal?
I want it to be equivalent to the number of Black people in America.
Is that possible?
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to take some work.
Yes.
You know, it's going to happen in my lifetime. You know,
Who knows?
We'll see.
But you know what? I think that one of the biggest things is making like what you're doing. You're making the whole idea of being an attorney more obtainable to someone who looks like me, or, you know, to my daughter, to our daughters who can see like, ooh, okay, we cute. We naturally, you know, cute. You know, we naturally fabulous and fashionable. And when you think of, okay, in order to be an attorney, I'm going to have to, you know, maybe I don't fit that look. But the idea is to take away what it's supposed to look like, quote unquote. That's part of the problem with our nation is this idea of what an American or what a lawyer or a teacher, what everybody's supposed to, quote unquote, look like, or how they're supposed to act. And it eliminates people who weren't necessarily raised that way or weren't not who they are. So I think that as you continue with the movement of embracing who you are and not feeling the need to change to the stereotype of what's supposed to look like.
Like, really, what does a lawyer look like?
Exactly.
Honestly.
Look like you, boo. Look like it look like you.
You know what? I have a question. So I went to your page, and you're a beautiful young lady.
At Jazz Talks Law.
Yeah.
Yes.
You be partying.
Oh, yes.
So, do you get criticized for, you know, I'm a lawyer, but she's a lawyer and why she's acting that way? But you're still young, you're still beautiful, you still like to have fun. Like, what do you say to people that try to criticize that?
Or put you in a box.
Right. So, in the legal profession, we have one of the highest suicide rates. And I think a lot of it has to do with us feeling like we have to fit this image or like we can't be ourselves. You know what? We in Atlanta. Let's be real.
Yeah.
A lot of deals, a lot of money gets made, you know, while we in the club, here, there, you know, and not just that, but clients really want to see a real person.
That's true.
You know, I'm not going to be, you know, out here acting a plumb fool.
Yeah.
But I'm human. I'm a lawyer when I choose to be a lawyer.
Yes.
You know, let's be real. When I get pulled over, I forget I'm a lawyer. you know?
Yeah.
So if if, you know, something I post or my look or whatever bothers you, then I'm just not the lawyer for you. But
And don't follow me.
And don't follow me. But guess what? You know, I had a client or a potential client he said, well, my mom just kind of worries if you go into a boardroom for me, representing me, if they're going to kind of take advantage of you, or, you know, how you look, are they going to underestimate you or whatever. And I'm like, good.
That's the best type.
Because, baby,
that's
when I sit down at that
sneak
table,
attack. That's how,
you think she cute and we can get over. Let's be clear. When we talking money, dollars and cents, it's going to add up.
Yes.
Period.
And I love that. But I think that is a stereotype that Black people have in general in any career that we're in. You know, you get, especially when you're dealing with a predominantly predominantly white field.
Mm-hmm.
They just assume that you're a certain type of way, and until you sit down and you're like, okay, so this is, and you know what? You know how we have the whole Black, angry, too strong woman thing. I think it would fit well in the attorney field.
Hello. Yeah.
I think we would do well in that field.
Because we one of my friends was like, I love how affirmative you are. You know, if I don't advocate for myself, who will?
Yeah.
As a Black woman, like, we have to, we don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But to advocate for ourselves. You know, we go to the doctor and we tell them we're in pain. And they're like, you're not in pain. No, I'm in pain. Like,
yeah, and I need to, and then they'll question the test. You don't need to do that. Just take this. No,
but that's okay.
I'm going to need you to do the same research. Don't wait until we're at the last stage or something.
Medical malpractice lawsuit. Coming soon. It's okay if you want to downplay my pain.
Oh, wow. So what stereotypes have you had to overcome?
Oh, well, I would say the one that really, I kind of hinted at it earlier, but the one that really bothers me the most is this idea that I come from money, or I come from this type of background. Listen, I'm from Huguenot High School, South Side. My mama still, you know, don't live in the best neighborhood back home. You know, I'm still, you know, trying to get my family a way out, even now, you know. And I just don't want nobody to think I had anything really handed to me because... aside from the good Lord above, you know, it's been the grind. The good looks don't pay the bills.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
I don't know if you can answer this, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. But why is it important to have more Black lawyers?
Why is it important to have more Black lawyers? Because when you go to court, right, and you don't have that, you have that court appointed. Meek know all about it. Let's talk about Meek Mill for a second. Yeah. He's a prime example. Look at the judge in his case. Look at his earlier on representation when he caught his case. You know, we are incarcerated at. I mean, the statistics are there. You know, we go to jail. We contribute to this private prison, labor. You know, all of that, and a lot of it goes back to. When you get arrested, what do you do? Yeah. What's the first thing you do? A lot of times we talk. That's why there's
what we supposed to do, girl. Come on, teach us something.
You're a lawyer.
Yeah.
If you can't afford a lawyer right away, fine, but just don't talk. Just don't say nothing. I don't let them scare you. Don't let them pressure you into making a statement or just, you know, giving them anything. Make them work for it.
But I think that's what it is. I think it's fair. I think that, you know,
you're scared of what could happen.
Yeah, all they're gonna do is lie anyway.
And then they make you feel like if you don't talk, you're guilty. Yeah. Or if you don't say something, you're guilty. So is it okay to, like, if you're in that position, to say I want to talk to a lawyer even if you don't have one?
Yeah. Because you're entitled to one.
Yeah.
You know, even if it ends up being a public defender, you're still entitled to a lawyer. You're entitled to have someone there representing you. You know, don't give in to those pressures. And a lot of times you aren't even under arrest. Yeah. And they make you feel like you are, you know, or they invite you, oh, come on down to the station. Actually, no.
I'm not going to be able to do that. Oh, wow. All right. So you mentioned in one of your posts that the average age for our Senate is 62. The average age of our House is 57. And the average age of every living American is 37. So explain to listeners how that is part of the problem.
So when we talk about creating better laws, when we talk about prosecuting people when they come up in front of Congress and give testimony and do all of those things, who are the people like listening?
Yeah.
These older people who are so stuck of touch, stuck in their ways, who don't even know how to log into Zoom.
Yeah. That's a good
and
point.
I'm not saying they shouldn't, be represented.
Yeah.
But we need to be represented too. Us
Absolutely.
millennials, us Generation Z, what have you. You can do a lot of things at a young age, but let's make, being a part of Congress, and even on the state and local level, and that's just another reminder to vote. But, diversity is important, when we talk. And that's one thing with law school tuition. They're like, well, how can I get them to pay for law school? You're diverse. Diversity matters. It's valuable. Perspective at the table, in Congress, in the boardroom. Your perspective as a younger person matters.
Yeah. So how does that change, though, age-wise? When you think of it, and no one really knows the process unless you've been through law school like yourself, on how to become a representative in the House or in the Senate. Is it that long? I be thinking, well, it'd probably take that long to get there. That's why they're so old. Is that the case? Or how do you get younger people in those positions?
You know what? So we have Queen AOJ, as I like to call her. I think she's a great example. She's and I think more importantly, her track record since she got into her position. She's taking no prisoners, baby. I think it starts getting your community, the people that are going to vote for you, aware of who you are. And she had a track record even before, obviously, before she got that position. Yeah. So I think a lot of it is awareness. They make us feel like you have to be this age. But she ain't that age.
That's very true.
And she's doing a better job than all them old folks.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So let me switch topics real quick.
Sure.
What do you think about the senseless killings that's going on by the police?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I gotta take a breath on that. Again, when I get pulled over, I forget I'm a lawyer. I don't try to advocate for myself. Like, I'm scared. Like, I'm scared.
Absolutely.
I don't care who you are.
Yep.
Them lights come behind you. And at this point, it's like, we need to prevent it from happening, but the people that it has happened to, like Breonna Taylor, that $12 million settlement, chump change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chump change. And we don't just want that. We want them prosecuted.
As a Black lawyer, like, how does this affect you? Like, how does the way things have happened affect you and how you're looked at?
So,
especially when it comes to that, what's that man's name? Daniel J.
Oh, so you know what, Mr. Daniel Cameron, if you are listening right now, just know you inspired me to start the State of the Black Lawyer Town Hall. It was a series I've started, and my whole thing is this. Unfortunately, a lot of people think when we become lawyers, we forget where we come from. And that really bothers me. Yeah. That's what I think about all this. Yeah. Because, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm myself. Because I want you to understand that most Black lawyers, we are not like him.
Yeah.
Let's just call a spade a spade. We are not sellouts.
Yes.
We didn't go for the corner office at the here or there or for their backing. We don't care about this type of pat on the back from the good old boys or whatever, But it's like, at the end of the day, if he had his title stripped from him, and if you don't know, Daniel J. Cameron, he's the Attorney General in Kentucky over the Breonna Taylor case. And his lack of empathy, honestly, he should have been on the front lines with them. He should have been marching with them, He should have recognized that if he had all his titles and everything stripped from him, and if he got pulled over, and if he turned the wrong way, he could have been Jacob Blake, You know what?
Let me backtrack real quick because it's amazing that like you're a lawyer and you say when you get pulled over you forget that you are.
Mm-hmm.
So as a black man, it's crazy that we don't even have to do anything wrong. You have all your paperwork, your car is legit, everything. But we see those lights, we immediately clench up like, it's about to be on. Like, why you think it is? And you're a lawyer and you're saying you still feel that way.
Why do we clench?
Yeah, why? I know why, but why do you? As a lawyer, why do you still feel that way? Because you can literally...
Because I may not make it to the point where I can file the lawsuit against the police officer.
Gotcha.
Because, on the back end, I can probably get that officer arrested or charged or
you gotta
fired.
get to that.
But I got to make it through the arrest first.
Yeah.
I got to make it through the traffic stop. Mama taught me, yes, ma'am, no, sir. Keep your hands in sight. Mm-hmm. And lawyer or not,
that's horrible.
It's horrible. And that's why I send all my love to organizations such as the ACLU, just different organizations that are filing these lawsuits left and right, that are really trying to make things better.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we have to get through the arrest first.
So, what do you think can be done to change the system and how blacks are being policed?
I definitely think we should defund police.
Really?
I support that.
Okay.
You know the law.
Mm-hmm.
How will that, so that people can have a clearer understanding of what that would do?
Yeah.
Because it sounds good. It's like, ooh, let's just take away their money. But there's more to it than that. Like, why is that something that you advocate?
You know what? I think police officers are there to keep the peace.
Absolutely.
That's their role.
They're supposed to do.
That's what they're
human resources. You're supposed to be there for the people.
Right.
It says protect and serve.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's literally all they're supposed to do. But they're getting calls from Karens about folks having picnics in parks and stuff like that, or whatever the issue is, and bird watching or whatever. And it's like, at the end of the day, if we take, it's a matter of access to certain resources. So if we pull some financing from them and put them in other places, it's not just take their money. Let's take some roles that they feel like they have and dedicate that to other sources. So instead of calling the police on a black man that's in the Wendy's drive-thru asleep, call a resource officer or, a DUI hotline or, whatever, have somebody come pick him up.
Okay.
But you know what they say? Oh, we don't have a budget for that. Oh, because you give your police officers new combat cars and...
So defunding the police would be putting those resources in places where there's other options than the police. Is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So do you think that police officers are afraid of the black man or black people, or do they feel threatened, or they just not being trained right for the way they react?
As I like to say, all of.
They
are, some of them, all above. They are afraid. Some of them haven't been trained properly. I mean, just think, they go through training for what, 6 months?
I know.
6 months, yeah, it's not good.
And does that even include any type of, racial bias training,
it's ridiculous.
Do they ask that question? Or is they
I have no idea.
Are you a racist? Could they don't they have to take a lot to take a test?
Honestly, I don't know. I imagine they at least got to do some type of test, some type of psychological test.
I'm gonna be honest.
That should be, are you a racist? They should just ask
and
the
see
question.
how they respond.
See how they respond. Yeah.
That's funny. Ooh, that could be a whole show. A whole show, get the police on and ask them that one question, see what they say. But you know what? I honestly feel like it is just all wrong. Even, I feel like police should be policing. You need to live in the neighborhood you policing. I feel like if you're going to police this neighborhood, you need to know that everybody here know where you sleep, know where your family sleep. You should feel like you're a part of the community.
And we should also get rid of qualified immunity. Which basically says it gives officers more leeway to do their job without the fear of facing a lawsuit for doing something wrong.
Yes. Yes. So it's like, I feel like a lot of the issues that we have is the lack of responsibility or the accountability.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If I felt like if this happens, I'm going to go to jail. Or there's going to be I'm going to owe some money.
Yes. We got to hit them where it hurts.
Exactly.
They don't care about us.
Yeah.
But they care about that money, though.
Yes.
Plus, you got to realize that, okay, so I'm from Jersey City. And 9 times out of 10, the police in Jersey City live in, like, Bayonne, majority, right? Just
They
down
live
the shore.
outside.
They live outside. So if you're coming from a very quiet, nice, innocent neighborhood and you come into police area that's very rowdy, of course you're not going to understand. Of course you're going to act a different way, or you're going to be scared.
Yeah.
Automatic on defense.
What's going on. Yeah. So I think that it should be more police that's actually from that area that can control the area and understand it more. But
I mean, like, how do we get those type of changes? Like, what's the process for that?
Well, who's the police chief, or you know, who's in charge of those programs? Who's in charge of, you know, the process of becoming a police officer? Who's in charge of who gets assigned where? You know, those are the people a lot of times that are elected. Another reminder to go vote.
Yeah.
Those are the people who make those decisions, and we have to hold them accountable.
And I feel like it's almost a lack of education because I wasn't taught any of that in high school. Like, I wasn't. And I feel like there's certain things that are missing in the education process where you don't know anything about this stuff. I don't know, okay, well, I need to vote for this person which is going to affect this in the long, you know, we don't know the connections. We keep on saying, go vote, go vote, go vote. These people go to the voting booth and don't even know who or what to vote for because they're not educated. They don't know what difference does it make. All they do is go, and they'll go and look at the pictures and see everybody black and be like, okay, well, let me just vote for everybody black. But no, there's more to it than that. You know, so how do we change the education system where our kids are being taught these things at a young age? Because I feel like that's really where we lack is information.
Yeah. So when you look again, I think a lot of this goes back to leadership. So you know, what are the school boards imposing on our students? You know, when I was in high school or whatever, we didn't learn any of that. You know, but are we demanding, you know, that for our future children? You know, now that I think about it, I need to go ahead and call some school systems back home for my 3 nephews, you know, to make sure that they, you know, and not just that. We of course, there's a lot of home education. Yeah. You know, we have to take responsibility too to make sure, you know, our children understand this isn't just about, you know, honestly, at this point, I could care less about Biden. I could care less about, clearly, I could. Yeah. Trump, like, let's,
don't.
You know, but bye, Donnie, like, but I could care less about them. I care about who, you know, RBG, she is holding on. She's one of our most loved U.S. Supreme Court justices. You know, my heart, I hope she holds on for us because she's getting up there. Yeah. You know, she's way up there. Yeah. But sis is holding on.
She do.
And my prayer is that God keeps her, you know, in her position until, and I'm just going to claim, until our next president is able to appoint someone, you know, because when we talk about voting rights, civil rights, abortion laws, just so many things, a lot of time the final say, you know, on those matters are going to come from our U.S. Supreme Court, and who appoints those people? Yeah. The President of the United States of America.
Absolutely.
So, can you tell everybody, like, exactly what you specialize in?
Sure. So, Jazz Talks Law started as a coaching brand, where I, you know, all walks of life, whether you're young or an older future lawyer, you know, the moment you say you want to go to law school, you know, I have resources, materials, workbooks, online courses that teach you not just how to get into law school, but to graduate law school with zero debt, and how to keep, which means you kept your full tuition scholarship. You know, I'm also teaching you how to get to the bar exam, how to graduate with honors, how to do well. So I have like a pre-law masterclass. I have a first year academy.
Wow.
I have a personal statement workbook, diversity statement workbook. And again, it's just amazing because it's like, oh, wow, I created these things and they're actually working.
Yeah.
You know, $2 million in law school scholarships.
Is that what these is?
Yes. So
Okay.
These are just 2 of my workbooks from maybe to yes,
Yes.
and then from yes to yes. Because your personal, because your personal statement is going to get you from that maybe to yes, we want to admit you. Then that diversity statement where you talk about all your fabulous natural hair or whatever you choose to focus on in that diversity statement is going to get you from yes to yes, give her all the coins.
Yeah.
So that's coaching. But then earlier this year, I decided to expand Jazz Talks Law into a law firm as well. So sis is busy.
Yes.
So my favorite thing is entrepreneurship law. You know, when I started Jazz Talks Law, I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
You know, it was a hobby. I just wanted to help people. But then it quickly, when people were just like, more like, I'll pay you to help me. And I'm like, okay. So I had to figure it out really quickly.
Yeah.
And I now come into contact with so many entrepreneurs who were, you know, who are in that stage where they're like, oh my God, I have to figure this out.
Yeah.
So I help them with their business formations. I love trademarks. Protect your brand, people. Please protect your brand.
Hey, I told you about that too.
Hello. Contracts, you know. Those are the things I love doing. I love it. And again, it goes back to Black lives not just mattering. You know, that's the bare minimum.
Yeah.
You know, but I want our communities to just have the structure they deserve. The structure we've given them for 400 plus years for free.
Yeah. Ooh, girl, you better speak on it. So tell us about this partnership.
Yes.
Before we run out of time.
Right. So Blueprint LSAT Prep is a company that teaches you how to successfully make it through the law school admissions test, a test that we all know is a barrier for us. But what they did is, I think they had a moment where they kind of just took a step back after the death of George Floyd and realized, you know what, we need to do more. We need to put our money where our mouth is.
Yeah.
And show our commitment to increasing the 5% of lawyers being Black. So I'm excited to say I'm one of their new influencers.
Okay.
And what that means is they have sponsored 3 document review services. So I edit personal statements, diversity statements, resumes, you know, any part of your application process, I can get that document to where it needs to be. And they have sponsored 3 document review services, each of which, just to give you an idea of them putting their money where their mouth is $350.
Oh, wow.
Per document.
Oh, wow.
Right. So for anyone listening right now, if you want that document review, if you are applying to law school, 1, I need you to take a screenshot and post this on your Instagram, stories, Twitter, everywhere, 1. But then 2, and tag me, of course. But then 2, I need you to say Afternoon Tea Talks Law. At me, at them, and I'm going to pick 3 winners. It's literally that simple.
Now.
If you're tuning in right now, that's all you have to do. So shout out to Blueprint.
Yes, shout out.
So tell everybody how they can get in contact with you.
Oh, so, you know what? I'm going to even give y'all my phone number. Call me.
Call me.
If you need a trademark, a LLC, nonprofit contracts, or if you want to go to law school and you just want to talk law specifically, give me a call. Text me. Actually, text me.
Yeah.
And then we gonna hop on the phone. 404-436-2006. You can also email me, info@jazztalkslaw.com. I'm all over social media, whether it's at Jazz Talks Law, and that's JASTALKSLAW. And then, of course, my website, same thing, jazztalkslaw.com. All my workbooks, my merch, any events, you know, anything I have going on, anything you want to purchase, you can find it all there.
I love it. Ooh, girl.
I love y'all. Shout out to the Black love in the building.
Yes. I love this. I love what you're doing. All right.
Thank you.
So we're going to get into the quote of the day. Quote of the day is, at the end of the day, it's not about what you have or even what you have accomplished. It's about who you lifted, who you made better. It's about what you're giving back. I'm going to say that again. At the end of the day, it's not about what you have or even what you accomplish. It's about what you lifted up. what about, wait, what is it?
It's
about who you
Take your
lifted
time,
up.
black man.
Yeah, let me do that again. Some people think I can't read. I graduated college. At the end of the day, it's not about what you have or even what you accomplish. It's about who you lifted up, who you made better. It's about what you have given back. And that's by the incredible, the great, the legendary Denzel Washington.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I couldn't agree with that more.
Absolutely.
It is definitely about what you're doing, and you're doing a lot, girl. So we thank you.
you.
We
Yeah,
praise you,
appreciate
girl,
you.
Thank y'all
on
so
all
much
you're
for having me.
doing.
This has been
Absolutely.
great.
Please come back. Let us know what you got going on.
Anytime.
Next week we have designer, business owner Miguel Wilson will be in the building. And yeah, make sure you're following us on Afternoon Tea Radio Atlanta on Instagram and Afternoon Tea Radio on Facebook. And also visit www.afternoontearadio.com so you can listen to our previous shows. If you missed part of this show, it will be online tomorrow so you could listen in and get all that information. And make sure you are definitely staying in touch with Attorney Jazz and Jazz Talks Law. Follow on all social media outlets, and yeah, just get your stuff. And we got questions for you, girl, because we entrepreneurs around here.
Yes.
So I look
Let's
forward
do
to
it.
using your business. So thank you so much for
No
coming.
problem. Thank y'all for tuning in.
All right, y'all. Make sure you stay tuned. See you next week.